What's poppin', players? Welcome back to a Two Penny Games review, this time for Minecraft Legends. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good gaming bud. Say hello to the people, Phil Shoemaker.
Hey, what's going on? New
Hello,
camera,
hello.
new me.
New camera, new you. Phil, this is actually the first piece of content that's hitting the channel with your new camera.
That's right. You can see me. I don't look like a blurry fucking mess. I'm just ugly.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we have been playing some Minecraft Legends throughout the week. Admittedly, for me, not nearly as much as I wish I had been able to, but, you know, we do what we can here. So, so we have all of our cards out on the table. I've put about maybe 10 hours close to into the campaign, and then me and Phil played one match of PvP 1v1 against each other.
God, I really want to play more, though.
Yeah, I do want to play more, though, as well. So, I'll go ahead and just start with my general impressions and opinions of the game. Minecraft Legends, I think, is a really good kids game. It's a nice baby's first RTS. However, I do think its campaign just kind of falls short in terms of variety, in terms of challenging the player, and in terms of escalating the level of difficulty and really training you to use all of your resources to your full advantage. At some point, it just kind of becomes really repetitive of build up a certain number of troops, go and swarm the enemy base, run back, get reinforcements, do it again. You don't really use a lot of the tools at your advantage in the campaign, mostly because I just think it's too easy. And at some point, it just stops being necessary for you to even try and experiment with some of those things. However, the PvP is an entirely different experience, where the environment will come after you, the computer-controlled enemies will come after you, and then playing against another player is actually quite difficult. And even though we've only been able to experience the 1v1 combat in the game, I can quickly see how 4v4, which is the other mode, would very quickly become something that if you do not have your team organized and if you are not all moving together as a unit, how it could very quickly fall apart for you. So that's something that I appreciate a lot more, but I just wish it was a little more reflected in the campaign of the game. Art style, of course, it's that Minecraft charm, so it's a lot of fun. I think, you know, the story beats that are there are just kind of cute and whatever, and it's definitely meant for your kid to kind of log on, play, sort of get the general feel of what an RTS is kind of supposed to be. But you do get the sense that the game does allow the type of freedom where you can just run around, explore the map at your own pace, at your own leisure, very relaxed, and just sort of, you know, enjoy moving throughout the world. And it's only in the PvP where it does get competitive and you do have to make every minute count. So two very different sort of experiences there. I think the campaign is a lot of fun for, you know, you to play with, you know, your kid or, you know, someone who's only played an RTS for the first time and really needs, or is early in video games at all and is still learning where buttons are placed. But in the PvP, that is definitely the more level up experience, and those who are probably more familiar with games and who would consider themselves quote unquote gamers, but maybe they're early in RTS playing, and this would be a good starter RTS for them. Overall, I think the game is fine. I think it's got moments of fun, but throughout my experience, I found it pretty tedious. Through quite a bit of my playtime. But I am excited to play more PvP and to jump into that and to have more experiences in that arena as opposed to the campaign.
For
Phil,
sure.
Where are you at with this?
I'm in a pretty similar boat. I will say starting off, when we were playing a few nights ago, for when we decided to pick up, there was, you know, getting into the game, I found myself kind of just running around in the middle distance, like scooping up whatever animals is cool. All the different mobs and everything that you can go and assemble on your team is cool, and you can just basically scoop people up out of the wild and send them to attack for you, which is most of what I was doing. And I was running around separate from you, kind of hitting my head against these enemy bases. And once I kind of got out of that, because I was getting bored doing that. But as soon as I broke out of that and I kind of was more teaming up with you and working alongside you for like a common goal, as soon as I had a common, like an actual goal I was working towards, I felt a lot different about this game. I was like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, this is fun. I'm having a good time here. And I'd say even more so when we delved into that PvP situation. I won, by the way. I wanted to make that clear. I beat Tavin. I fucking wiped the floor with him. It was a 0% on his base to 100% on my base.
Okay, well you're leaving out some key details, but okay.
Anyway, perfection, perfect victory, flawless. But anyway, that was a really good time. It was a balancing act, you know, like you had not only the other player to worry about, your resources to worry about, but you also have the NPCs. You have your enemies that will just constantly swarm your base from whatever other strongholds they have on the map. And it's your job to try to like disable some of their strongholds and get some resources from their buildings and use them for yourself. The resources, that is, you don't get to like convert enemy bases or anything. I think that would be kind of cool if there's some kind of like you take control of this area, so then that it's some kind of like capture system. I think that'd be like a neat mechanic for them to do. But I digress. That PvP I think is the most fun. It's the most fun I've had in a PvP RTS since the old Halo Wars days. You know, it's just, I think I didn't realize how much I've been itching for a PvP RTS. Like as far as tactics go, like the most that itch has been scratched for me is like Fire Emblem. And I'm hoping to scratch that itch more with Advance Wars. But as far as like tactics and getting resources and getting the right troops for the right job, I think that this is a relatively satisfying game. It's not going to be, you know, when you at first you have a bad itch on your back and you got a back scratcher, it's not going to take care of the itch all the way. But you know, it's like a nice little short fingernail scratch on that bug bite, you know. Anyway, I'm going a long way for a small drink of water here and saying it's good, not great. It's a fun time. Definitely not one that I would recommend playing by yourself.
Yeah.
Especially as far as like the campaign goes. And of course it's fun with like tactics, PvP, because you have that communication. Me and Tavin have not had the opportunity of diving into like a cooperative PvP experience where it's like the two of us versus other people, which I'm hoping to get to at least once. We were trying to get Connor in on this too, but he was some kind of baby back bitch and he decided not to play Minecraft Legends. Too busy playing Deep Rock Galactic.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
That game from I don't know 2015. I don't know when that game came out.
It's more recent than that, but yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, and you know, for those who maybe weren't paying attention or haven't had this on your radar, it starts off pretty generic, and they choose to have a player character as opposed to just more of a omnipotent camera view or a bird eye camera view. So you do find yourself running around the map a lot and trying to hunt down resources and finding resources. And there's limited ways in which you can sort of automate resource gathering. Most of it is you going out on your own and finding it yourself, which I find to be kind of frustrating because it constantly is a worry that I wish like wouldn't be like one. Like I think of my time to like Cult of the Lamb, where like at first it's like, okay, you are doing everything, but eventually you build up the resources to do it
Right.
sort of give it to your underlings or something. And I wish this game had something like that, where I do think because it being Minecraft, you do have to go out and do the mining yourself a little bit. But I do wish at some point there was a switch I could flip or a building I could make or a resource type mob that I could craft that would allow me to send out and be like, all right, you just go around the map and hunt for this. Go find iron. Go find coal. Excuse me. Because it's really, really frustrating because, all of the maps are randomly generated. And it's really frustrating for me to run around and try and find this one resource that I have. And I've picked it clean from the area that I'm based in. And you just have to like run around and try and find it from there.
Are the PvP maps also like completely randomly generated, or is it like a similar kind of like circular map?
So I think it's all like the topography is the same, but what's on it is different every time, and
Okay.
where bases are placed are different every time.
Gotcha.
And that's what changes and so forth. But I like the shape of the island is always the same.
Right. It's that like roughly circular with like little
Yeah.
cracks of like rivers and stuff flowing through it and
Yeah,
stuff
but
like
I don't know if like mountains change or valleys change. But I do know for certain that like where resources are placed change dramatically,
Okay.
and you can kind of see it. Like it's like, all right, that's a weird place for that rock to be, but okay, it's here.
Right.
But yeah, I really do wish that there was some way to automate it, because you're just running around the map like looking for resources constantly. And in a PvP environment, like it really makes it really hard. One of the key reasons you beat me in our match is that you just attacked me at a time where I didn't have resources because I was busy doing other shit.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of attacking a different base. And so you just like, all right, this is probably a good time, and it was a great time to do it, which does play into part of the
stocked up
strategy.
my army.
But like, it plays into part of the strategy. And honestly, if I had just built up my army because I was capable of attacking you 20 minutes earlier, like if I had done that instead, probably would have made quite a bit of progress myself, or maybe even won myself. And I understand that's part of the tactics and experimentation and playing with the formula of the game, but it's just a little too micromanagey for me, for it also trying to be a very approachable experience, to where now they're trying to do both. Yeah, now it's hampering my gameplay experience because it doesn't want me to get down and dirty with all of like the systems and building new buildings and so forth.
Yeah, I definitely get that.
And you had briefly mentioned it in your time, and I hadn't even thought of it until you mentioned it. But yeah, switching up some of the gameplay modes and having different modes to experiment with, in
like
which
different objectives,
Yeah, different objectives, I think would go a really long way in this game. Like first to build this type of structure, and it's a really high end structure or something, would be really cool.
Sure.
First to capture a set number of bases would be really cool. Playing a capture the flag or a domination type thing, what does that look like in this game?
What I think would be really cool. What I think would be really cool is if you do something similar to Halo Wars, where it was like you could play it as like a human, or you could play as the Covenant. And this one, you can be like a human, or you can be a piglin, and you could have piglin units and stuff like that. I think that would be interesting.
That would be interesting. I mean, I don't have any issues with the variety in the gameplay itself, or in the units that you're controlling, because they do let you do things like you do get to take control of the normal Minecraft mobs, the creepers, the zombies, the skeletons, and even beyond with that, which I do like and appreciate that.
Literally just run around the world, and if you see like a badger, if you see a turtle, a rabbit, you can scoop it up and then send it to attack a person in the game.
Yeah, it's not as good as like crafting a unit, but yeah, you can do that. Yeah. And then I do like the balance of what are they called? Not allies, allays, where you have a set number of allays, which are like little spirits that either mine or craft for you. Yeah. So you have like you start, I believe, the campaign with 5 and 5. So you have 5 crafting allays and 5 mining allays, and so you just run around, you place down the allays, and the allays do all the mining or the crafting for you. And so you can only do so much at one time. I like that system, and I like how it balances out, and I think it's really smart, and it allows for more growth in the RTS sort of perspective.
In PvP, you're starting with like 2 or 3.
I think it's 3 and 3. That sounds right to me. Like I like that system, but like I just feel like we can kind of do more with it. And I think that's my biggest critique of the game, is that it starts strong, but they just don't do enough. Like they don't play around with it enough. And for it to want to be such a casual game, like why are there not more fun things to do, more fun modes, more goofy objectives and so forth? Whereas like it really is just, hey, go wipe out enemy bases again and again and again, which does have its charm and it's fun and entertaining. But with it being so limited in objective sets, the limitations of the game also start showing their ugly faces. This game doesn't have a whole lot of Minecrafting in it. It has a decent amount where like you get to pick out exactly where you want your walls to build out, which is nice. You get to build bridges and ramps, which are cool. But I can't fill in holes like in the ground. Like not really. Like I can put a bridge down over it, which is nice. But like if there's just a hole in the ground where I want it, or if there's like some like a beginning of a mountain in it and it's getting in the way of where I want to build, like that becomes a problem. Also, like the ramps that you use to get up on top of mountains, they're super janky, but they also limit you on how high you can build them, which like for game balancing reasons I understand that. But then let me have like there are times in the campaign where it's like, okay, I need to get up there and I'm just short because it's just a little too high. And it's like
there's also the thing where some of your units can't really jump that high, so like you might be able to get somewhere, but your units are like stuck at the bottom of the mountain.
Yeah. I've also found that units just get lost all the time. Like when I'm trying to like charge a thing, like I'll end up with some just kind of hanging, stuck on a corner or something. And
Sure.
I think that's a thing of like having them just each individually be units as opposed to like a tank that like can just kind of clip its way through where it needs to clip through, like you would see in a normal RTS. And it working through individuals. But they give you things in this game that like sound nice. Like you have you have to yourself go and collect your mobs and send them to go do a job, which is cool. But you can only collect so many at a time, which is nice for like upgrading opportunities. So it's like, oh, I can only carry 10, right? Or I can only charge with 10 right now, so I need to upgrade so I can charge with 15. Nice. But they give you the option to send units in individually, which I don't understand why we have that function, because there's never a case where I've ever felt the need to do that. I always send everything I have at one thing at one time. And even more so if in your crowd of people you have different types of mobs which specialize in different types of things, like one is good at tearing down buildings, another is good at killing other mobs. I can't choose which one I'm sending forward. It's just one of them goes. And so what's the point of even giving me the ability to send in one? I just don't understand. A lot of these systems I think have good intentions, but they're not thought out well enough for me to feel like I can sink hundreds of hours into this game. I'm going to return to this game once to play 1v1 with you, and then again to play a 4v4, and maybe another time after that. And after that, I'm probably going to put this game down.
Sure. No, I totally agree. Like that is super frustrating where they almost at some points give you too many choices, and then at some points give you far too little.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely hurts this game.
Yeah.
And in terms of like how I think of it,
Yeah, and it's less so of like choices of the variety set that we were talking about before with like different modes or different types of building opportunities and so forth. But it starts becoming you're hampering me from doing what I want to do.
Right.
And now it's like there's no way for me to send my mobs that take down buildings in one direction and my mobs that are good at killing other mobs in another direction. There's no way to cleanly do that. You just have to spawn type A, go and send them, and then spawn type B, and then go and send them. But by the time you do that, type A might already be wiped out. So you're just wasting your time and your resources. And now it's just like, well, then what's the strategy here? Is just to build up a variety and send them all at once. That's really it. And I don't feel like the game rewards creativity, and I don't feel like the game allows me to have an intelligent way to conquer a situation. It really is just build up strong forces, send them at base, win game.
And I think that's what makes me think that, yeah, this is not just because it's like a Minecraft game. This is definitely just for kids. It's a kid focused game. That simple kind of, hey, you can baby, like you said earlier, baby's first RTS. Yeah. Like you're spawning these little golems. You're gonna go send them to attack these. All go attack the pigs. Go knock down their buildings. You got it. You can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there. I don't think
to that that is what we're saying is 100% true for campaign. For PvP, it is a little different. There is a little more complexity to it, but
sure,
it still does lean towards build up army, go attack base, win game. And
Right.
you attacked my base. I had defenses set up. I had mobs still at my base to defend it, but you kind of just brushed right through that. Now, there are things that I now am going to employ the next time we play to sort of delay that or give me more opportunity to counteract your attacks, which I think will have different levels of success to it. But in terms of 1v1, I don't feel like there's too much more that I can do to improve my chances.
Right.
It's just whoever lucks out gets more materials first and gets to build out an attack first. I really do
Right.
think we'll
Whoever's getting
the gambit.
whoever's getting fucked by the piglins less.
Yeah, but
You know?
I could see how in a 4v4 scenario where one guy's out collecting resources, one guy is building up defenses, one guy is on the attack, and another guy sort of playing middleman and doing whatever needs to be done. I could see how that could add a layer of complexity that would be super engaging and super fun, which is why I really want to play a 4v4 match and have people who understand what they're doing and are gung-ho and trying their best and see how that plays out and the level of fun I have with that. But other than that, I don't know what else this game is going to provide me that I can't get from something else.
Right.
But that's speaking as, a grown gamer. As I could totally see how a kid would load up campaign and run around and just like collect animals or just mine all the trees in an area or, just run around and attack just himself, not like progressing the attack on the base and knocking buildings down, but just, cutting up piglins and having fun with that. I see how a kid would love this game, but for someone looking for more than just a kid's game, this one doesn't disappoint, but it does limit itself in the amount of fun it can give you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you said it earlier of like, this game's good, it's just not great, and I would recommend it if you're just looking for an appetizer type game, which is something you were sort of alluding to earlier. But if you have something else to play something else. Like, this is not going to...
I don't think this should take priority over something else.
No, absolutely not. And even if you're like, hey, I'm kind of bored of the games I'm playing right now, let me try this out, it might entertain you for a weekend, and then you'll put it down and probably not think about it ever again.
Sure.
Which is kind of disappointing because the game was presenting really well. Like,
Yeah.
I really thought this game was going to be a little more grand than it is. But it's much more simple than I was hoping for.
I mean, you look back to it had to have been like January, right, when Xbox had that showcase.
I believe it was a January showcase. Yes.
And me and you saw their like little thing, the little presentation they had for this, and we were like, oh, this looks really fun.
Oop, I broke the thing.
Your stream broke.
There we go.
Yeah, so you and me were hot on it. We were like, oh man, this looks awesome. This looks like a great time. And I mean, it was a great time, but I was thinking it was going to hold our attention longer.
Yeah, I was too. And yeah, I think just sort of the jankiness of it, and just it's not very thorough in its game design is just really, really holding it back.
I think
the idea is good. The idea is really good.
As far as execution, it's just I think the word I'm looking for is shallow.
Yeah.
We're in the kiddie pool.
Yeah. Which,
there you go.
Like, was the intention of the developer clearly, but you just a few more steps. Just take a few more steps, and you prolong the life of this game exponentially. To me, where like I could have seen myself really playing this and really getting into it, and it being a gateway to other RTSs. But it's just left me being like, oh, all right, and then I'm gonna put this down, think cool things about it, but not great things about it, and I don't know if this is a gateway drug to other RTSs.
If I could like put this into perspective, I've obviously, I mean, it's April and I've already played 12 games this year.
You've been working, boy.
Right. If this does somehow end up on my top 10 list of the year, it's probably like number 10.
Yeah.
Can't imagine it being any higher.
Yeah, I don't I don't know if I foresee it being in a top 10.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even know if it's going to end up on my list at all.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like, and I'm coming off pretty negative about it, and I think that's just probably because my hopes were a little higher for this game.
Right.
But I do think this game has value. I think it's worth merit, and I think if you have kids, it's definitely worth your time to play it.
Oh, absolutely. Play some co-op with your kids.
Yeah, 100%. It's just missing sort of a pizzazz that I know is in there. The potential is there, but it just doesn't quite reach it.
You're bobbing for apples, like the potential, like you're in the bucket trying to grab the apple, but it keeps slipping away.
Yeah, and every time where I go, oh, this is cool, this is fun, I'm enjoying this. There's always a sort of a hindrance to that. There's just always a knockdown where I go, well, I would be having a lot more fun if I could do this. Right. I'm enjoying myself here, but I could be enjoying myself a lot more.
We got John in the chat. This is Minecraft Legend.
Yeah.
Legends. It's a RTS Minecraft game.
But yeah, Phil, anything else you want to leave us with here on Minecraft Legends?
No, I don't think I really have anything else. I think that we pretty much summed up everything that I kind of wanted to get into when we were thinking about this review.
Yeah, I'm sure there was more thoughts that I'll think of later, but the main point for me is this game is cool, this game is fun for moments, but it just the tedium and the lack of freedom, I think, really holds it back. And I'm not going to say lack of creativity, but just the inability of the game to take the following steps to sort of give me a little more inspiration to keep playing is just not there. So.
Right. Yeah. It's just lacking that driving force. It's definitely not one of those games we go to work and we think about, oh man, I could be playing Minecraft Legends right now.
Yeah.
It's definitely not that,
And it had the potential for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't get me wrong, I was never expecting a 10 out of 10 masterpiece from this game.
Oh, of course not.
No. But
I was thinking maybe an 8. I was hoping for an 8.
I was hoping for somewhere around there, but I was hoping for sort of that thing that you were talking about where I would play it, put it down, go and do something else, and just be thinking about it. And when I'm not playing this game, it's never even entered my train of thought once. So,
sure.
Good or bad. So I guess I'm just sort of middling on it. But I'm not going to call it a bad game. And I think if you're considering playing it, give it a shot, especially because it's on Game Pass. And, it's not a full-priced game. I believe it's $40 on the PlayStation Store.
It's on the PlayStation Store?
It is, which I thought was weird too. I think Minecraft just gets a cheat and gets to be wherever it wants to be. But yeah, I enjoyed moments of this game, but yeah, I was not blown away from it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for your review of Minecraft Legends. If you are watching on youtube.com/@2pennygames, we do reviews as much as we can here on the channel, and they go live usually every Sunday. You can catch live streams of us recording our reviews on twitch.tv/2pennygames anytime from 4 p.m. to what time are we at right now? 7:40. So anytime from 4 to 8, we are streaming, recording all of our podcasts, such as the 2 Penny Games Cast, the Piggy Bank reviews, Game Club, etc. Next week, we will be doing our Game Club review for Portal 2. So make sure you drop in and check out that. And Piggy Banks go live on Saturday. Follow us on Twitter @2 Penny Games and on TikTok spelled out 2 Penny Games. And we are also on all mainstream podcast services. Just search the 2 Penny Games Cast and you will find us there. And if you're watching from the 2 Penny Games Cast, thank you so much for watching. Remember to hit the subscribe, like, and share with a friend. And to catch Phil live, twitch.tv/2pennygames on Tuesday at about 2 p.m. Central Time for whatever he's playing this week, probably some Advance Wars or something. And until... What?
I was just saying, we'll see.
We'll see. You gotta tune in to find out. Until next time, have a great time. And Phil, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye.